Yeah, yeah, let's do this. Welcome to this um, new episode in this craziness called life. There is a strong sense of nervousness inside me, and I just melt in that sense. I melt in the feeling of like being exposed, of like showing myself, my ideas into the world and opening to the reflection of that through you, from you. It's crazy. So yeah, let's jump in. Today I want to talk about the past, present, and future, and using Web3 as the lens for that. So I have a structure that I want to follow that is, yeah, giving 20 minutes to each part of this. So I'm going to start with the past and speak about the past. And the question that I came up with as an exploration for this is, what is the role that Web 2 has played in the levels of depression that we see today in the world? And why depression, and why this question for talking about the past? Because it's one of the main issues that we have in the world today. Last week I was with a teenager, and it was heartbreaking for like to see how she was interacting and the way that she was like deep into her phone. It made me feel empty inside in some way to see that, and that's part of the reality that we live in. Those levels of depression are part of what is present now, and I really believe that we are like in the worst moment of that. I think that that is going to change and transform in the coming years. And this is the moment on which we make that decision. This is the moment on which we say, okay, it's time to do something. And I believe that creativity is a strong window towards those answers, because the creative act as an antidote for depression, or as a vehicle for making you find meaning in life, making you feel that you are yourself, that you have a voice, that there is something inside you that wants to be expressed. And I believe that like the creative act is like an avenue for going out of where we are, or maybe not going out of where we are, but like a transition into something new, and I'm inspired by that. But the question was, what is the role that Web 2 plays in the levels of depression? And what comes to me as an answer to that is the identification with the self and with the character that each person is playing in life, because Web 2 demands you to like hide, quotes, air quoting, hide behind that mask in your in your interactions with the world, and those interactions end up being the like you need to sustain that character in order to um, exist. You know, it's about survival. A big part of how human works is related to survival, and like holding that character in place in all these social media platforms um, demands you to um, yeah, to give too much. I was, yeah, I hope that the technologies that are being developed now don't have like the most important revenue source, the sucking out of like the soul of people, you know, because like the way on which these systems are designed now, it's for that, it's for maximizing the amount of time that we spend in those platforms. And like those business models are what ends up bringing depression in humans, because they tap into like the most primitive aspects of us, which is like the survival. We need to survive. It's like our most basic desire. And the way in which we survive in this digital era, in this web 2 era, is by like supporting this persona on the internet that needs us in a way that is not sustainable, and it's not healthy, you know. And I believe that it's a big part in the way in which like these business models are structured, and the necessity that they have for having us like clipped that into the platform. There is a strong belief in me that it's good to have a limit on the platform, you know, the amount of time that you spend on the platform. And that's part of the answer of the third question, like which is the answer that Anky brings. And there is like an invitation to have a limited amount of time that is um, measured or like proved. I don't know the word correctly, but it's like measured by the capacity, or not the capacity, but you have only like free tokens, so that you can like write for 8 minutes, and then you can read what one person wrote for 8 minutes. So that's all the system, you know. And if you want to do more than that, you will have to pay whatever you like whatever we established that is going to be paid. But that is like today what I have in mind as a design mechanism for this. Like I do believe that that is going to be helpful. It is to be said how sustainable that is as a business model, and like that is a big part of the challenge here, because in all the startup world that I have seen, I have not been like too deep in the startup world, but what I have seen until now is like this when you need to capture the attention of the user, you offer something for free, and that ends up making real that there is nothing free in life. So when you use Google or Facebook or all these platforms that are free, there is a cost inside that, which is the cost that we are paying right now as a society, which is like the answer to this first question. the cost that we are paying is depression, and it's time to transform that cost into something different, and the consequence of this like frame of mind of web 2 also comes in us as customers. We are used to not pay for what we use. For example, don't know, we go to a cinema and we pay $10 for going to watch a movie, and we complain that we have to pay a $10 monthly fee for watching Netflix every day for 2 hours. So the correlation between the amount of time that you use in a particular platform, in a particular entertainment vehicle or whatever it is, even education, like the correlation between the value that we get from that and the amount of money that we pay for it, web 2 uh, made us not appreciate that um, gap. I feel that there is a strong gap in that in society, which is built because of this web 2 model. And I really believe that there will be a transition into that. And also, like, another aspect that has been present in my life lately, I have had to like create 3 new credit cards, because on each one of them I had like monthly recurring payments that I didn't know. I'm not the most organized person in the world. It's hard for me to keep track of my stuff, and it sucks to receive an email that says like you were charged $20 for this that you didn't, like, you signed up for to see what it was, and then you were like, I don't care about this, and you forgot about like erasing that payment plan, and then you got charged. And that like system that captures you because the product that they offer is not as good, so that they need to use these behavioral economic tricks and scams for like getting your money at the end of the month. I think that system is not good to have it in place anymore. I really believe that we should focus on creating tools and platforms that are so valuable that people pay for them upfront. So for example, now I pay for ChatGPT and it brings a lot of value into my life. So it would be great for me to be used to pay those $20 at the beginning of the time that I will use it, so that there could be like a different structure of the economic relationship that I have with the tool itself, and that is something that is not present right now. And my guess and my invitation is for it to transform into a new way of doing things. And right now, like today, is the moment on which we need to start building those tools. We are already doing it, but we need to think about new ways of building that value for the user and bringing that value so that the users are not like soul bound to our products. What happens now is that many times we are soul bound to our products because our whole identity is built in that platform. On Instagram, you are not the owner of your following or of your posts, and if Instagram tomorrow decided to shut down, you will be fucked with your post and with everything that you created there. So that soul bonding of you as a creator, you as a human being to the platform, that is something that also creates an attachment to the platform that is not healthy, I would say. And yeah, that's part of what comes now as answers to what is the role that Web 2 has played in the levels of depression today. Um, yeah, I feel like that. Something that comes to me right now also is like the overwhelmment that is felt because of nav bars. When you go into a website and you see in the top of it like all the options that you have. I create websites and I design them, and like that is the starting point. Each time that I design a website, and now I'm thinking like, is that necessary? Like, is it necessary to bring such a big amount of information to the like mind of the user? Am I being mindful of like the bandwidth that that user has? I believe I have not been like that, you know, and I'm guilty of that also, because it's part of like the paradigm of design that I have been using for this whole time and how things should be done. But I doubt that being the best um, option. You know, I don't believe that it is the best option, and I think that we can do better. I think that I can do better, because what comes, I believe, is much more immersive experiences, and like, because now the attention is siloed in these big platforms, in these big web 2 giants, you know. But as this shifts and as the polarity of that attention spreads in society in a new way, like the amount of time that you're going to spend in each website and how you interact with those will transform for sure. I mean, for sure. So the whole design of how the user comes into your website and how it interacts with your website, that whole journey is going to be transformed. And I don't know how that looks like. I'm beginning to understand like the whole erasing the login button. It's a huge transformation, you know, and I am creating the website of Anky, and I am like understanding how to design so that you know that you are logged in. You don't need to see that thing in the top right corner to see that you are logged in. You know that you are inside, and it creates like this immersive experience on which you're like, okay, I'm being part of the Ankyverse right now, and I'm in this domain of consciousness. You know, I do believe that that is the shift that comes in the way of us creating these platforms and giving creators the tools and the knowledge and the self trust in going for it. You know, we need more crazy experiences, we need more awesome experiences, we need to transform the way on which we interact with each other and with ourselves through the internet. And this new technology that is being developed is absolutely exciting in that sense, because you don't need to be tied to your identity anymore to have a presence online. And that is fascinating, you know. And me as a builder, like being in the cutting edge of that process of understanding how this technology can be used in building something that did not exist before, and bringing awesome experiences that can help you like evolve in one way or another. It's fascinating. So I'm all for it. I'm very excited and looking forward to that transition. Cheers. I'm going to drink a bit of coffee now. with my mug. Yeah, I love this. It was a present from my wife on my birthday, which was 8 days ago. It's crazy to be doing this, talking to the void, but it's good. It's helpful for processing what is inside. There is so much inside, so much to be said, so much ideas. Ah, so I love giving myself this gift and opening this door. Right now there is no one here, and it doesn't matter, but hopefully this will start catching up and more people will join, and when that happens there will start to be an unfolding, a community unfolding through these ideas and through what is happening here. So I'm excited about that. Okay, so now we will move to the present, to what is happening now. And the question that comes is, why launch an NFT project on this market? And why not wait for different market conditions and blah blah blah? Like, really, this is a question that I never posed myself. Like, I never said, okay, this is not a good idea now, maybe wait until there is more people, or wait until there is more whatever. That is something that never was part of my thought process, like waiting for better conditions. um, I always saw, wait, I just saw that on the stream I am recording the wrong screen. Wait 1 second. um, um, yeah, okay, I fixed it. Sorry for that. Sorry, but it's okay. Now it's all good. Much better. Yeah. Why launch an NFT project in this market? And my answer to that, what comes now, is that I'm not doing this for the money. I mean, I need the money because it's a vehicle for creating more things. And the moment I say that I'm not doing this for the money, I am being literal with that blockage that I have had in my whole life related to money, because I come from a family that has a lot of money, and it was never like a problem in my life, money. And I, every time that I needed money, I could ask my father and my grandmother, and they would be like, okay, of course. I mean, not like that, but I knew that I would not have problems in relationship to that. And what that ends up building inside is like a blockage in relationship to the relationship with money. And that is a strong element of my interface with life. The other day I was talking to a venture capitalist, and he told me, like, I'm just capital. And I was like, yeah, I'm not talking to you for capital. I'm talking to you for something else. And I have been digesting that conversation for a long time, because it was so stupid. I was talking to a person which work is to give me money so that I can build something awesome. And if I have that blockage and I don't believe in myself and in these ideas, in this creation enough, nothing will ever come out of it because I have that blockage in place. So I want to come back 2 minutes or 3 minutes ago when I said that I don't care about the money and say that's a lie. I care about the money. I care about giving my life and my family a good livelihood. I want to care about them. I want to be able to buy nice things for my daughter. I want to be able to live a life that doesn't have me worried about money. And until now, until today, in the last years of my life, that has not been the case because I have been always like in this scarcity mindset that won't allow me to explode in that sense. So I care about it. I want to live a good life, and in the budget of Anky, I put there a salary of 3 each month for me so that I can live a good life and focus on building with that good life so that I can eat good food, so that I can take my family around, so that we can have fun, because that is an integral part of having a state of mind that allows me to create something beautiful. And if I don't have money for paying the bills, I will always be worried about the survival aspects of existence. I will not be worried about something different from that. So that blockage is in place and I care about it. So this is a way for me to earn enough money so that I can focus on building, and that's part of the budget. I have been clear about that and it's okay, it's part of it. This is a good way of raising money and being clear with it. So, but yeah, other than that, like I see this, like Anki wanted to come out of it, come out of me. There was like a moment in the last months on which I was like, ugh. It was like I vomited it, and it came out of me in this way so that I could share it with the world, so that I could have like an interface to relate with the world, because it has always been hard for me to share myself with the world, to make my points across and to make myself understood. And this is a way, a vehicle that I have found for that is huge. It's an avenue for my creativity to be expressed. It's a focal point for my energy to say, okay, this is how I build, this is what I bring into the world, this is how I explore the tools that are available in the world to create something that was not there before. When I started teaching myself how to code, I created an interface which I called the Open Source Factory. And in the Open Source Factory, my mission was to program every month one different web application. And I created whatever I wanted to create that month, but my mission was to be focused on that. So I created a social media for parents because I was going through the process of being a father for the first time. I created a web app that integrated SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube so that you can have all your music in the same place. I created a website for my podcast. I created a website for myself, my personal website, and the mission was to come every day and do a deep work session every day for at least 190 minutes. So I worked with that, and it was a very powerful expression of the impact of consistency, and it gave me this knowledge and wisdom of, okay, if I want to do something that I don't know how to do, being consistent and developing that skill is very important. And I wanted to share that with the world, and if you see behind the lines of the Ankyverse and what I'm bringing here, it's an invitation to be consistent. It's an invitation for you to develop the capacity for being consistent in creative work. That's all it is. I do these streams in the morning on which I work for 100 minutes just to have it as a heartbeat of this process of working on something that is new, just to bring some inspiration. I don't use that space for like talking to people or like interacting. It's just like a place to be focused, and I'm moving towards more and more understanding the value of that place for that, you know because that's what Anki is about at the end of the day. It's about helping people develop the capacity for trusting in themselves. And that is not relevant to the market conditions. That is not relevant to the state of the world right now. It's important in the market conditions that we have. It's important in the state of the world on which we are at, to like bring more of this energy into the world. I definitely think that. But like the most important thing is for you to develop the capacity for trusting in yourself, for you to develop the capacity for knowing yourself. And if you show up and you do the work of seeing you in relationship to this consistency, there will be something that comes forth that will be the information that you need to evolve. That is my thesis behind this, and I need this frame of reference to develop a state of mind that makes me feel healthy. I like these sojourns, 96-day cycles on which the Ankyverse is alive, are the 100 days cycles of work that I have done the last 3 years. And those periods of 21 days of rest, they are the like decompressing periods of this thing. They are the moments on which you rest and you say, okay, what happened in this period of 96 days, of 100 days, what happened, what comes next. And I do believe that these cycles are very important to develop something that is valuable. That's my thesis, and that's what I want to bring into the world. And it was the time now to do this, because I was like ending the last cycle, and I was like, okay, I need to start the next cycle with this frame of mind. This is just a conceptual framing. It's not something that is real per se, but it becomes real when I give it the importance that allows me to bring forth my truth. And that is the invitation that I want to bring to you. Like, I don't care too much about you coming into the story of Anki or whatever. No, what I want to bring to you and to your life is this trust in yourself, so that from that trust you can build something that the world has not seen before, so that from that trust you can be yourself, you can be who you are. And that's all what this thing is, and it's not timely, it's not related to the market conditions, it's not related to who you are tomorrow, it's related to who you are always, and it's related to who you are behind time. There is a timeless aspect of your being, And this NFT project and all the world that arises from that seed, like the NFT project is just a seed. It's the initial point out of which this whole tree sprouts, and this tree that is sprouting is this conversation. It is the persons that are going to be inspired by this in the future. It is the challenges that you come up with in this process. All of that is part of that tree and that network and that forest. And the NFT project is just like the seed of that, it's the starting point of it. And all the people that trust in this project enough for watering that seed with their energy and with their money so that they can buy one of these NFTs and hold it forever as a recognition that they saw something in here. It may happen that, yeah, it doesn't matter if I'm not able to convey it right now, because it is going to happen. It is happening, and it cannot be stopped. This is like a force that cannot be stopped, and it's happening, and it had to be now. Fuck the market conditions. Fuck that there is no one here in the room. Like, it doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter. What only matters is like bringing that work into the world, bringing it forth, so that from there something new can come into the world. And it's all about that. And I think that that is an important transition to bring into the work that we do. Like, how much emphasis we put in the floor price of collections, or in this or that. you know those are like, in the sense that I spoke at the beginning, those are like web 2 metrics. The floor price is a web 2 metric. The important metrics that we need to take into consideration now are like, which is the health of like the project? Is it making progress in bringing something new into the world? Is it evolving in some way, or is it stuck into the same patterns and like getting rot in those patterns? Because when there is no movement, there is rot. Life wants movement in order to be. So we need this movement to evolve in some way. So that's the invitation now, like, to use this project. And for me, it's to use this project as an interface to bring that movement. Because from having published this NFT project, there is like a whole domain of ideas, of possibilities that open just because of the existence of this in the world. There is a smart contract in the Ethereum network that is called Anky Genesis. There is a collection in OpenSea that is called Anky Genesis. There is a possibility for you to mint an Anky Genesis, and I can offer that to you because I published it. And that's the power of having done it. If I spent $3,000 or five, whatever I spent in creating this collection, and I don't sell it, I need to find a new way of making money, and it's going to be okay. It's not going to be the end of the world. But the end of the world would be to not trust in myself, or for you to not trust in yourself enough for doing something in spite of the timely, in spite of the market conditions. If there is something inside you, if there is fire inside you that wants to come out through a creation, bring it on. Fuck the market conditions. The world is always watching. Life is always watching through you, because you will know that you did it. You know what you do, why you do what you do, more than anyone else. And you are the one that is going to come back and say, wow, that was the moment on which I was doing that. That was the moment on which I trusted in this enough for doing this. And that's everything that matters. That's it. Cheers. Cheers for the heroes. So now we are going to enter the last third of this monologue. It's fun to do this, and it's important to vomit. So important. Okay, so the third question is, what is the answer that Anky brings? What is the answer that Anky brings? Yeah, what is very present right now is on an architectural level. There were different options for launching an NFT collection and like pre-made smart contracts and stuff. And I thought about going through that route, but then I realized that no, it was not the route that I wanted. So I taught myself to code in Solidity so that I could create a custom smart contract for this. Because I wanted this collection to be different from an architectural level. And if you go into either scan and read about the smart contract, you will see a poem that starts the smart contract, and then it says enter the Ankyverse, and then it says in memory of David Foster Wallace and all of the victims of depression. And then you go through the smart contract. Is probably the most simple smart contract that you will ever find, and the key component of the mint function is that if you own an Anky, if there is an Anky in your wallet, you cannot buy another one. So this forces you to only have one. And this mechanism is transformative. I have never seen it in the NFT space before for an NFT collection of 8,888 pieces. And it's a transformative element because it looks for the long term. It's designed for the long term. And when I created the smart contract, I wanted to be one more participant in the community. I did not want to be I don't see myself being the leader of this community in 3 more years. I don't want to be that leader in the future. I want the community to lead itself, and I want to write the smart contracts for that to be a reality. I know that I need to do it now because no one will do it, but I envision a future on which this will take life of its own, and each one of us will have one vote. There was no airdrop to me as the creator of the project. I paid my 0.01618 ETH and I minted my Anky, Luna Maria. Actually, that is the Anky of my wife. I don't have an Anky yet. I will mint it maybe at the end of the stream. Yeah, that sounds nice to end this like that. Yeah, so I'm thinking if I have enough it because I transfer yet to this influencer and I don't have money. I will see. Doesn't matter. But I wanted to be one more, and from the design standpoint, for me to pay for one of the Ankies as as each part of the community, each member of the community, it was an important design decision, you know, very important. So from there, like from an architecture level, it is a new story. From the art level, it is a new story because each character is different, each one is unique, and I created a system for Midjourney to create the images of each one of them, and don't ask me how, but I ended up creating a system to prompt Midjourney and get at the other side these characters. Like they all look similar. They all look as if they were part of the Ankyverse. And that gives freedom to create something beautiful, because this is something that has never been done before. In NFT collections, you will see like they have different layers and different traits, but this, like doing them all in this way, I have never seen it before, and it's a new story in relationship to that. Each character has like its own story that was created with ChatGPT, and that's also interesting. It's also part of the lore of this world, and it's also part of the value that this collection brings, and the other answer is like the focus that I as a creator of this project has in relationship to build something that brings value into the world more than just allowing collectors to collect the NFTs. There is an inherent value in that, of course, but the value that I want to bring is to create something that people can use, that people that are not part of Anki can use. And in that sense, what I what I am creating is, so I designed this machine that spits out Ankis, so Ankis are infinite. There is no limit to the amount of Ankis that can exist as characters, because the machine that I created for creating them, it doesn't have a limit in the outputs or in the inputs, you know so my end goal is for each human being to have her own Anki, his own Anki, its own Anki, because of this system, and the mission is for that human to have that Anki as a vehicle for getting to know himself better, herself better, because it will be a mirror. When I say Anki is you, I mean it, because it is a mirror for you to get to know yourself in a new way, for you to realize who you are in a new way, in a real way, for you to explore the truth of who you are with clarity. That's the mission of this world. That's the mission of what wants to come into life through this project. That's the expression of that tree. When I speak about the NFT collection being the seed that sprouts into a forest, that is the forest that I envision. The forest is humanity awakened. It is a new expression of us as human beings, knowing who we are. It's different from what I talked at the beginning of depressed people being identified with the character that we came here to play. I consider myself depressed. As I talk to you, I see myself in the screen, and there is sadness in my eyes. There is an inherent sadness inside myself because of being buried, because of being identified with the mask, you know? And Anky is a quest that I created to take out the mask and see the truth so that you can experience that also. That is the message that this project, that this idea, that this meme, that this whatever craziness this is wants to bring into the world. This is the message. This is what I want to bring. This is what I am bringing. And in the understanding that there is value in that is where this fire gets lit, because there is value on that, because it is time for a new story. It is time for us to connect with the truth of who we are. It is time for you to know who you are. And this is not about dogmas. This is not about following a particular human being. This is not about tribalism or sects. This is not about that. This is about following yourself. The only invitation that Anky brings into the world is for you to know yourself. Is for you to ask you the question, who am I? Over and over again, so that you can experience the answer. That's it. That's it. As simple as it is, but as hard, because it is hard. Because being who you are is hard. And I acknowledge that. I acknowledge how hard it is to embody all of that, all of those emotions, all of those thoughts, all of those physical sensations. I honor all of them. I know how hard it is. And I want to tell you that you are not alone. That the mission of this madness is to build a container for you to know that you are not alone. And that container it could be like in community. It could be in relationship to others. I know that we are used to say that in Web3 it's all about community and blah, blah, blah. Yes, but I cannot build that. It doesn't work for me. 1 year ago I went to a meditation retreat, which was one of the most important experiences of my life. The person that created the meditation retreat has a YouTube channel which has 500,000 followers, like people that are deep into the spiritual path. I came back from the retreat and I told Dan, this guy, that we should create a online community for these people, and we created it. I helped in the creation of it, and there is 1,600 people inside that community, and it's hard for me. I created it, but I cannot participate in it. It's not for me. I don't know how to interact with communities like that. So it would be a lie to say that I know how to do that, or that I will create an online community for you to feel that you're not alone. It would be a lie, because I know from my experience that that feeling of not being lonely that comes from the relationship with others is, at the end of the day, not real, because the feeling that you are not alone comes from the inside. It doesn't, like, the true feeling of you not being alone doesn't come from your relationship with others. It comes from your relationship with yourself, with who you are, with the understanding, with the experience of who you are, so that you can embody who you are, so that you can honor who you are with all of your being, with all of the pain that comes from that honoring, with all of the sadness, with all of the resentment, with all of the fear, with all of the judgments. Each one of those elements is part of the experience of being a human being. And the invitation that wants to come forth through this project is the absolute acknowledgement of those as integral aspects of being human. I'm not here to be for you. I'm here to be for myself, so that I can inspire you to do the same for you. That is the invitation that comes through this world. That is the invitation that comes through this. It's not an invitation to do something new, or to, yeah, I mean, it is an invitation to do something new, but it's not an invitation to bring more stuff into your life, or to bring more people, or to bring more community, or to bring this or that. No, that is not the invitation that I bring. The invitation that I bring is for you to get to know yourself. It's for you to get to experience yourself with everything that you are, so that you can inspire all of those that surround you in your local community, in the place where you live, so that you can inspire each human being with which you interact to be himself also, to be herself, to know herself, so that you can be a mirror of life, and we can build a new way of relating to us and to each other from there. That is the invitation that comes from this project. That is the seed that was planted with the Anky Genesis NFT project. This is the seed. And from there, from this seed, what sprouts is a forest of humans that believe in themselves, that trust themselves, that know themselves, and that care about themselves. That's everything that this is about. About you asking yourself the question, who am I? In the intimacy of your own being. This is the hero. Anky is you.